This has really annoyed me, so I'm going to talk about it. I was in my local film lab the other day, and the owner was telling me about how, like, more than 50%, if not the majority of their customers, never collect their negatives. They ask the lab to throw those negatives in the bin. What? These are like physical memories. Hang on. This entire box is full of negatives, physical negatives. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to pull one out. I've got no idea what's on this. This is mostly a blank one, but there's a picture there. So where is this? This looks like that's Athens. Okay, so that photo on this, obviously there's loads, but this was just taken in Athens in Greece. So the reason this pisses me off so much is because I have a real hard time in general remembering what I do. Due to some stuff when I was a teenager and like just how my brain works in general, I have a real hard time forming memories. And the ones that I do form are so strong that obviously like it focuses in on those specific ones. The negatives to me are like a physical manifestation of my entire life. There are thousands of photos in that box. Everything to do with my life is like contained in a physical format. And the fact that people are so frivolous with this, like you've paid the money to buy the camera, you've paid the money to get the roll of film, you've paid the money to get the film developed and scanned, and you just throw it away? Like, yeah, it's cool that we can store like millions of photos on a hard drive like this. But also, you know what happens? Hard drives go corrupt all the time. Like, I plugged in an SD card the other day and it was just like, sorry. But I had a backup, which is useful, but then the backups don't last forever and hard drives fail consistently. And yes, you could say, like, okay, well, Connor, you can put negatives, you know, they could set on fire, those could get water damaged, etc., etc. But the point is I can protect these physical things. No one can take those away from me. The scan that I get from the lab is great, but depending on what you pay for, you might only get, you know, 1,500 pixel image. It might not even be that sharp depending on where you go. The color correction might be a bit weird. And it drives me insane that people are so frivolous with their memories. And you see this all the time with like how easy taking pictures has become. Like, you'll see parents taking photos of their children to never look at them again. They just exist in this world of like digital cloud. There's no real tangible anything, which is why I think so many people, and particularly people who are my age and younger, they're like so drawn to these nostalgic edits, these nostalgic, you know, de-hanced, grainy pieces of footage and films and photos, is because that's either what they grew up with and they saw it and they're missing it, or it's that they're so drawn to it because they don't make their own damn memories anymore. They don't protect their own memories. They just take a photo, go to the cloud, never looked at again. It's the same with people at concerts. Like, you'll see thousands of people at a concert filming the same thing that's going to come out on YouTube like 6 weeks later. There's no point. Like, all you're doing is you're clamoring for memories that you want to have that you just then toss away. Like, it's like people getting so obsessed with these like travel edits and all this type of nostalgia, hopecore stuff. You could make those memories yourself. And it's because you don't make those memories yourself and you don't protect them afterwards and you don't preserve them that you just yearn and long for these memories that other people have because they've done the thing that you wish you did, which is collect them and protect them and look through them again, which is fucking crazy to me. Let me get my actual camera. 1 second. All right. Apparently this camera only has a minute left to record because the SD card's full, which I think is a lie. This is a reusable disposable, so you can just load in film as many times as you want. It was like $30. This is an Olympus, it's a bit dusty, Olympus OM10 that I bought for like £40, so like $50, 10 years ago. Obviously, you don't have to use a fancy camera. You don't have to use any kind of camera other than your phone, but you just have to be conscious of like what you're doing with your memories. You're going to be 60 or 80 or 100 if science keeps going the way it's going, looking back on these days, basically thinking, why don't I have any of these memories? Why, when I think about my past or I go to look through like my computer files, which might not exist because it's been 60 years, why do I not remember any of my life? It doesn't really matter what you use, providing you're like being present in the moment and capturing the memories that you think will be important to you. For me, I think in visuals. So if I read a book, it's really hard for me to digest it because it's all the pages look identical, yeah? But if you take those pages and turn them into diagrams or turn them into some kind of artwork, that's super easy for me to remember. So if I think about my favorite albums, I typically have no idea what the name of the album is, but I can describe it to you. So one of my favorite albums at the moment is Beartooth's album called The Surf. I think it's called The Surface, but I know it's pink and it has the Beartooth logo on it, and I could draw you the Beartooth logo. If you asked me to like name my favorite quote from a book I read recently, I couldn't do it because like all the text just looks identical. So for someone who is visually, like they think in visuals, cameras are great tools to have. Digicams are great. This is a 2013 Ricoh GR, I think. Honestly, I don't even know because the Ricoh naming system is awful. Journals. These are a great grounding practice to have. These are great at capturing your memories if you are much better at like remembering words or like written stuff. But also I've done this in the past. Take voice notes. Voice notes are pretty cool. Every phone has a voice notes recording app. You don't have to use a camera like this. You don't have to use a digicam. If you want to sit, you had a nice meeting with a friend and afterwards you're on the train home or sat in your car, you just want to record a quick voice note about how it went. You can store those somewhere. You can transcribe those. You can take those and turn them into something else. I've just pulled this out of my fridge. This is a roll film, okay? This is a chemical process and a piece of material that will capture somewhere between 33 and 40 images, depending on how you put it into the camera. The fact that we don't protect and preserve these things is utterly insane to me. Completely ludicrous. Like, I'm genuinely terrified that an entire generation of people who have grown up with smartphones, who kind of were the generation after me. So being born in 95, I've had like all the physical media experiences. I grew up with prints and photo albums and film cameras. And then my parents went and they bought digital cameras and they picked those up really early. And now people are so just like, it'll be in the cloud forever. I'll just pay $7 a month for eternity. Shit might not exist. And yet I'm recording this on a digital camcorder. Yes, I understand that uploading this to YouTube might not exist when I'm 70. But do you think that that's the only place I keep these videos? And what's more important is like the physical formats. So having prints as well. Do I have any? Yeah, I do actually. Hang on. This is my friend Sam. And we were in LA. This is a film strip from a photo booth in a club in LA. So I've written on the back, Connor and Sam, April 2025, Los Angeles. Okay, this is physical film. This is not, those photo booths that take a digital photo and then print it. This was from a photo booth that used chemicals. This thing took like 10 minutes to come out the machine. And I keep this as a bookmark because, it's bookmark shaped. But getting your photos as prints, like something I'm going to be doing is getting, like this wall should have tons of my photos on. Yeah, that's why I have quotes on the wall. Yeah, then it's a visual representation of a set of words I find meaningful. The idea to me that someone, to bring it full circle, goes into my local film lab, spends all that time and money capturing these moments. Like the joy of having one of these disposable cameras is that you can capture a moment as it happens instantly. There's no screen to look at. You're literally like, you pray and shoot, it has fixed focal length, you have the flash going, and you're just like, click, boom, done. People are so fucking frivolous with these memories. They just take them. But the second a phone comes out, people start acting weird. It's why I'm recording this on a camcorder, because I feel like I can actually yell at this thing rather than using my phone all the time and just struggling to feel connected with it in any way. Because your phone is not just like a camera. It's not just a camera. It's like a black void. Like it's just a box to everything. Whereas this camera, all it does is take video. Sorry for pointing at you. And yeah, I'm going to sound manic about this because this is super important to me. So something that I wish I did was this more with my grandfathers before they passed. Something that I wish I did as a teenager was take more photos, because now when I look at my hard drives and I look through the photos, there's huge gaps. And for me, I know like the worst times in my life, you can see it because there are no photos. So if you go and look at like my Google photo backup, because it's just an easy way to visualize it, over the years that we were locked away, there's a massive gap of photos because I was just so depressed, so dissociated, completely locked away from who I was as a human being, that there's no evidence of it. Since I struggle to make these types of memories anyway, it's just gone. Like those years, no idea what I did. I couldn't tell you. If you asked me what I was doing between the months of February 2020 and September 2020, like a period of 6 months, couldn't tell you. Yeah, there's a handful of photos that exist from back then, but basically not really. What I'm trying to get at is that this is really important to me. Not just archiving your memories correctly, but capturing them when they happen so that when you actually want to go back and look at them, they exist. Yeah. So you don't spend all your time, like, if you think about your life and you have these gaps, well, your brain's going to be like, well, I was a kid once, and maybe I was running through a field and petting a horse and doing whatever the stuff I was doing. Or maybe when you were a teenager, you went on a particular trip that, like, it's a bit of a blur because it was all so novel and new that you want to look back on and remember the sights and the smells and the people and that weird instance where you met a dog and I don't know, whatever it was. But if you don't capture these things and you don't protect them like your life depends on it, they just disappear. And then what do people put in the void? They put other people's ideas of their memories. Okay, and we're going to see this a lot with AI that's coming through, is that people are going to start like animating and adjusting their memories. People are going to start making fake memories based on what they think happened rather than capturing it in the moment. And it's going to be so dystopian because people are going to start getting, if you think about how people like yearn and like are so drawn, you look at the comments for like a Hope Core video or like a really nice travel edit or something like that. And it's like, oh, I wish this is what it felt like to be a child. It's like, if you have the fucking prints or the images or the journals, whatever you prefer to use, you can just relive that for yourself. You don't have to rely on the fake nostalgia provided by somebody else. You could have your own nostalgia, which is why I'm a very nostalgic person. That's why I use film. It's why I use old digital cameras. It's why I'm using this damn camcorder. It's because, to me, if you're going to have nostalgic feelings, use your own damn memories. Well, I think you can really destroy yourself, like destroy your sense of self by relying on someone else's input to kind of trigger the bits of your subconscious that you can't access. Yeah, because because you don't have the reference points with images or journals or whatever, but also in the sense that every single time you put someone else's idea of your memory that triggers your subconscious to get whatever the feelings are that you're after, you're putting that thing where your memory could be, or as you would with like an old VHS tape. Like sometimes you've seen this probably in movies of like someone's wedding video getting taped over with like a children's cartoon, but you're doing that every day with just content absorption. If it doesn't actually benefit you and you're just using it to like, and that's not to say every piece of content should be value and you should be learning yourself, like educating yourself rather than entertaining yourself all the time. I don't care. But what I do care about is how people just, go about their days. They don't capture anything about what they do or who they are or what they're interested in or what they like. And then they just throw it away. And the film is a really good example because it's like a physical object. It's a physical manifestation of your memories. But people do this all the time with everything that they consume that's content-based. And we'll start reaching the point of the meme of the kid or the guy in the VR headset in a dark room, like in a puddle of his own piss, yeah? But in the VR headset, he's like in this euphoric dreamland. And I think we're reaching that point as is anyway, like we're kind of moving towards that. But the way you stay grounded and the way you stay actually connected to what is meaningful to you is by doing things I've just described. And it'll be different for everyone. Like it'll be different for you, how you want to capture this, how you want to preserve these memories. But to me, I know that if I didn't do this, firstly, what am I going to show my grandkids one day? What am I going to show my own children one day? Like imagine like you're brought into this world, and I don't even need to imagine it. This probably happens every day. Like you turn like 8 or 10 years old and you started, gain a little bit of consciousness and like memories that you form, you'll probably keep them. And you have no idea who your mum and dad are. You have no idea about their life. You have no idea about this. And the reason for that is because they've, for some reason, 4 generations like of iPhone ago, they just started only taking digital photos and putting them on iCloud. They've never synced them to the TV. They've never got a physical print made. They've never really shown you anything about their life because they treat it so frivolously. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be part of that world. Because these memories, the ones I'll put on screen, these are so important to me. And they allow me to really figure out and see patterns in my life of who I like to hang out with, where I like to be, what things catch my attention. That's why voice notes are great, because you can transcribe them, shove them into some kind of tool, and just look through the words that you use. That's why journals are great, because you can go back and look through them. You can capture ideas from your brain. You can notice patterns. There is no pattern in scrolling through Instagram other than what the algorithm thinks you will like and what you will stay clicked on. It's so destructive. And it's so destructive for your ability to capture, form, and recall your own memories. Like, that's just the science, but like the actual human element of the art of memories, I just. So, yeah. Obviously, this is coming from a guy with a big blank wall and an apartment that has basically no furniture. But what I do have is the ability to know where I've come from and where I'm going by looking at what I capture, by looking at what I have already captured and saying, like, this is me. These are my memories. You can't take this away from me. Traditions, stories, myths, iconography, images, all the things that we look at when you look back in time, someone bothered to capture them. Someone bothered to do that because it was useful to them at the time, but also they probably had an understanding that this was going to be picked up by somebody else in the future. Especially if it comes to like records and, stuff like that. Even if the future was 6 months away, not 10,000 years away, or if you think the last 500 years of writing, maybe it was just to write a Bible down. Maybe it was to write a record of who owed what taxes. It doesn't matter. What matters is that someone had the intention and the foresight to do it so that when someone else picked it up later, whether it was whoever was taking over their office or their children or their grandchildren or their great-grandchildren, they had an idea of where they came from. And I think that's the thing for me. It's like, capture your life while it's happening, protect those memories, and hand them off to someone else. Look after them, cherish them. Remember that they are part of like everything that makes you are these memories. And yes, being present. And yes, you could say that like the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist. We only exist in the present. But what these photos allow me to do, what that bookmark I showed allows me to do, is recall parts of me when I feel lost. When I look at my photos that I've taken and I'm having a rough day, I can look through these moments and yes, it's nostalgia. Yes, maybe nostalgia is like a pretty potent drug, and maybe we shouldn't be just spending our entire lives focusing on it. But at least it's mine. At least these memories are my memories and not someone else's idea of what my memories should be or what an algorithm thinks my memories could be. These memories are mine, and that's why I capture them. I think I'm done. I think I have said everything I want to say. This is 15 minutes on this clip. I've got all the other clips before this. Protect your memories, because you never know when you're going to want to look back on them.